In a fight against corruption, there are few people that are brave enough to speak against the vice, especially in Uganda. And in Uganda, one of those people is the Deputy Inspector General, Anne Muhiire. However, many times in these endeavors to stop for corruption, she has come under crossfires with individuals that are well connected and are using these connections to stifle our efforts. Well, to add a voice to such efforts, it requires people that have a voice and are courageous enough to put a voice to these things so that they get heard and action is taken maybe. Today, I'm joined with a face that needs no introduction, Pastor Martin Semper, who has a bone to pick in this issue and share with us insights and as far as the information he has gathered in this case to push the conversation forward. And again, I need to remind you guys that every information shared on this platform does not belong to the platform of On The Board podcast, but belongs to individual people that are hosted on this platform. My name is Francis Mukula, and welcome to this beautiful episode of On The Board podcast. Pastor Semper, welcome back.
Thank you, Francis. Mm-hmm. We can shake hands. You're my friend. Nawangwe is not my friend, but you are my friend.
I'm honored.
It's true. So anyway, I think that there are certain jobs that have what is called workplace hazard, where if you participate in that job, there are risks that come to you, you know? One of those very difficult jobs is being a champion against corruption, especially in Africa, Uganda to be specific. And if you look across Africa, there's been many cases where people are involved in the fight against corruption. They are harassed. There's lawfare. Some are even killed. You know, I was looking at some of the names of people who have been involved in fighting against corruption. I have a list over here. I'll just pick it up in a minute. But some of them have been killed. Some of them have been driven away from their homes. Some continuously have to look over their shoulders because, there's a guy in Ghana, if you could look it up. The guy was in Ghana who was looking at doing investigation concerning football.
Oh, Anas.
Yeah, was it Anas?
Yes.
He was. He exposed.
He was an investigative journalist.
He was an investigative journalist. He exposed the goings in of the dirty dealing in the football.
Yes.
Now, many people are watching football. You think that the game is not syndicated. Mm-hmm. But behind the scene, there is syndicates. So I know for Rio and all of us are aware that if you are going to be fighting corruption in this country, it's a perilous with high level of workplace hazardous conditions. So when I saw a story a couple of days ago about Anne Muhiire, a very bright star in the fight against corruption, she was previously the president of Uganda Law Society, Uganda Christian Lawyers Society. And she made a name herself as a Christian, very upright. And she's known in the city as a very upfront, strong Christian lawyer. And recently the president appointed her as the Deputy Inspector General of Government. She, along with the Honorable Betty Kamya, are doing a commendable job. But I saw a ridiculous story where a junior police officer was accusing her of offering that she was degrading the wetland, and that she offered to give him 3 million shillings as a bribe, and that she somehow assaulted him. It just didn't make sense. Anyone who knows Anne Muhiire, Mrs. Anne Muhiire, that's not her. That's not her. So I did homework and I said, who is this guy who is accusing Anne Muhiire of bribery, intimidation, torture, environmental degradation, and many others? It turns out when I looked at the gentleman, it's called Alex Katungi. Okay? Alex Katungi, who apparently, Katungi is part of the infamous flying squad. He was an associate of Nixon. I don't know if you remember a very famous Nixon, the gunslinger of the flying squad, which was disbanded after a huge outcry.
Yeah.
Because people who started out fighting crime ended up
Becoming criminals.
So, someone, Alex Katungi, when I did homework, and it was very helpful, Andrew Mwenda did, and Andrew Mwenda's Independent did a piece on him that actually exposed him as, in the same way he comes off as a policeman, a constable, junior, but he drives in 4 cars, Range Rover, that he moves in a Range Rover, a white Toyota Noah, a white Toyota Harrier. He's known as an extortionist whose victim that he collects money from an oil syndicate with other corrupt officers within the police force. That's what he says. And that what he does, he goes to people who are apparently either building near or in a wetland. He tells them, I'm the big boy of the NEMA,
Okay.
and you better do what I say. First, he shows a lot of strength. You've done something wrong. This is so bad. You are in trouble. Sometimes he beats up people. And then part 2 is that he sets up working things out where people pay. Okay, then say, okay, let's sit down on the table. So people can pay 10 million, people can pay 30 million, people can pay 90 million, 100 million, depending on the size of the wetland property, to be degraded. He's like the commissioner.
So they bribe him to be forgiven for
to
building
be forgiven so that they can continue building
on the wetlands.
in the wetlands. Now, he himself is building in the same wetland in Kajansi. He's building a multi-million dollar, billion shilling hotel. I looked at the photos
Kajansi.
near the Kajansi airstrip. So when I did some homework on this thing, it just didn't make sense. It just did not make sense. Now, because I have Twitter, you see, people on Twitter share about everything. People share about football. Oh, my team, Arsenal, is the best. Man U is the... People share, girls share about whatever. Those who are about Nyash, they talk about Nyash. Okay? There are others who... I mean, people talk about everything. Others sell... Now, for me, I use my Twitter for national development issues. And fighting against corruption is one of those. Promoting the family. It is part of my strategic goals. I said, no. I'm going to do a little bit more homework on this issue. So I did homework, and I have found, to my shock, that right in front of our eyes, a great injustice is being done. And there is an official who represents us, who is fighting corruption, who is fighting abuse and impunity, who is being accused by a character who has a long list of people lining up to this man, put a gun on this man, took money from me, this man, broke my leg. Hey! A man apparently is very well connected. So I decided that no, I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to investigate this issue. I am going to get to the bottom of it. And I know in Uganda, people become polarized. Sometimes the right people, I have ever been, by the way, in the right place, and people didn't speak for me. You find the whole media is compromised. I will not talk the media houses. Wait.
I know. It happened.
Francis, let us be clear that when people do corruption, they are very thorough. I've ever been a victim where justice was miscarried, and when I thought that the media was going to bring out the information, it did not.
When was that?
This is back in 2009.
What happened?
I will not discuss it. The certain bishop had trouble in their church, and instead of dealing with their trouble in the church, some young people accused the bishop of sodomizing them. And then instead of the bishop handling it, he decided to look for people like me and say that this is the one who is paying those young people to accuse me of what?
Sodomy.
So in the end, the person the good person was made to be the what?
The bad person.
Hey, Francis, I suffered. I know. I still wait for my apology.
From the bishop.
That bishop one day will come and bow his knees in front of me. I'll even put my hand over him and said, "You man, you're such a bad man. Boy."
Which bishop is that?
That I will not tell you his name, but such a bad man.
Okay.
Such a bad boy. Made my life difficult. So I know that in this country that I live in, that there are certain mafias. Okay? They run a cartel where they can involve a whole orchestrated plan to demonize you. They throw lawsuits at you. Now, apparently, Anne, this guy got a lawyer, a very powerful lawyer.
Who?
Is it Rukutana? This man, Alex Katungi. He got
A powerful lawyer.
a very powerful lawyer. Okay? He got a very powerful lawyer so that he can be able to... the lawyer wrote a letter saying that accusing Anne of extremely unbecoming crimes. That she offered a bribe, that she degraded the environment. He also claims that he apparently held him at gunpoint. I mean, so many things that make her look bad. You can see it on my Twitter. You can see it on my Twitter.
Let me check.
Yeah. So we are having...
the Observer also wrote a story. Deputy IGG accused of degrading
what
wetland.
did the Observer write?
Deputy IGG accused of degrading wetland, torturing police officer, Anne Muhiire, reportedly ordered police officer Alex Katungi to kneel, raise his hands, and apologize to her son, saying she only...
okay, go ahead. Go down, finish.
Saying she only fears her president, his wife, and brother Sally.
Okay, now listen. This is really a bad story. Read it again. Start from the beginning.
Deputy IGG accused of degrading a wetland.
Number one, accused. Who is the accuser? The accuser is a gunslinger, a former flying squad guy who went underneath after being accused of many crimes. A warlord who moves around, who has been accused by many. Not just accused, but also prosecuted with many cases at the police. 2, he says that her son, what did he say about her son? That he made?
Raised his hands up, apologized to her son, saying she only fears her president.
Very well. Why? What is he apologizing? Do you see the cooking of a story? That he said, put your hands up and apologize to my what?
To my...
First of all, this is not her son. From the investigation that I have made, Anne Muhiire does not have a grown-up son that level. This is her employee. But now, in the process of trying to make things look as if you are dealing with nepotism, right? Oh, this is my son. What is it that... Continue. That he made, put your hands up?
Raise your hands up and apologize to her son, saying she only fears her president.
Wait. But look, it would be saying, raise your hands up and apologize for
whatever you've done.
You see, that is the issue.
So
they are not talking what the man had done.
Maybe this story has more, because this is a screenshot.
No, this is a screenshot, but I want to tell you this is what they are doing. And it's instead of saying apologizing for what, at least let the editor be accurate. apologize for
what?
What?
Okay.
You see, what happened, we're talking about a gunslinger, a man who is regularly used to extorting money from people. He came to Anne Muhaire's land and he wanted to extort money from Anne, the deputy IGG's employee.
So the story was flipped.
Flipped! The bad boy is now looking like the good boy, and the good boy is being made to look like the what? Man, these people are so bad. These people are so bad. But you see, when you're a thug, when you're a mafia, when you're a gunslinger, and now you come and you have a showdown, and you discover that the person you are trying to extort from is who? The deputy IGG. Then you have to make her look bad.
But she, Pastor, what I've noticed is Uganda Radio Network picked up the same story. The Independent also picked up the same story. And the Independent also had written prior story about Katungi, remember? So, why is it that these two actually reputable media platforms are actually picking up this story? It seems like there is more than meets the eye.
Exactly. This is what I saw. You see, when you know the facts, and you know who Anne is, you know there are some things that she just cannot do. Journalists in Kampala, they know. Even a simple person can say, what? Anne was degrading a wetland, and then she offered a bribe, and then you had to, what? This is, her son beat you? I mean, you beat Alex Katungi, a young boy, to beat Alex of Flying Squad, the man who moves with 2 guns.
How old was the boy approximately?
They apparently are trying to make it look like he's a young...
Because they're saying that on 19th January 2025, our client in execution of his duties inspected a suspected dumping degradation of environment contrary to Section 55 of the National Environment...
Wait. Now, first of all, a suspected... You know this?
Yeah.
You see, this is a lawyer. What is the name? Rukutana.
Yes,
Rukutana is the one who is writing.
No, this is a kicker for the story by the Uganda Radio Network.
Okay. Now, but this is not from them going to the place. This is from them reading a letter written by the lawyer who was bringing this issue up and claiming and writing after the incidents of the scandal, okay? After the incidents of the scandal, he decided that he was going to write a letter to cover up, okay? The letter that I showed, that I posted.
On your Twitter.
Yeah, it is here. This is the letter. But before the letter comes out, you have this man who this is from Mwesigwa and Rukuntana Company Advocates. They write to the Inspector General of Government. Okay, you see, they want to create a problem for Anne
at her workplace.
Yeah, at her workplace.
Okay.
This is part of the hazards that we will make you lose your job. And I said, we refer to the above mentioned matter, wherein we represent Katungi Alex, who is a police officer. Now, how he became a police officer, we don't know, because you remember he was in Flying Squad, then he disappeared. That is attached to the Environmental Protection Police of Uganda Force, who has instructed us to address you. Now, Katungi always introduces himself as the head of NEMA. People in the, those in the area of Kasanje, they know that this is the man in charge of what?
Of NEMA.
Yeah, he's the prosecutor, the judge, and the commissioner. But he's a mere police what?
Officer. A constable.
Go ahead. Then on January, our client, in execution of his duties, he says that conducted an inspection of a suspected dumping degradation of the environment contrary to this law, and he found that the degradation was being orchestrated. Now they are saying that degradation. Now remember, it is a suspected what?
Degradation.
Now the land itself is not in a wetland. The land we are talking about is not in a what?
In a wetland.
Not a wetland, which is why they said a suspected
Degradation.
If they did not, they would have said it is automatic what?
Degradation.
Degradation. Now, then he says, our client found that he was backfilling a wetland contrary to relevant law of Uganda and presidential directive against environmental degradation. The land that is in question is not in a wetland. Okay? But this fellow comes in, and as you go, as the inspection, one Asimwe Ronald, who appeared to be the site manager.
Made
Now,
a phone.
Okay, you
Made a
see,
phone call.
now from at the beginning is called a site manager. But in terms of trying to misrepresent, he's called what?
A son.
A son. This is an employee. But in trying to misrepresent facts, okay, to whatever, they try to bring and make her look like Anne this is her son. He called Anne, who arrived at the scene at around 1 o'clock and started verbally insulting, threatening, intimidating her client. She immediately ordered her client to leave the site and never step there again. Okay? So, number one is, what is her crime?
The suspected degradation.
Suspect degradation. This fellow is there. She orders him to go. What does she find? What actually happened was that this man had beaten
The employee.
By the time Anne arrives at the place, this man had beaten.
So where is the evidence of the beating? Are there any physical...
Yes, the man was bleeding.
So why is it that her story is not yet out?
Because these people are quicker. Sometimes those who want to fight you are quicker. They are what?
Quicker.
They're quicker. I think that for her, she was trying to resolve it in a proper way. Call people. Let's have a meeting. Let's resolve it. Make sure that this doesn't happen. Bring agencies together. And what happened is when she gathered the people, she discovered that actually there is a long list of people who have been hurt and by this who?
By Katungi.
Katungi. Now, if you can see, this thing doesn't make sense. I don't know if you can read.
Oh, because which paragraph should we
She
start from?
intimated that she only fears the president, the first lady, Kaleba Kwananako Alliance. You see, when people want to make you look bad, this is what they say about you. But remember, the first sentence doesn't add with this one. She says, please go away. There is no notice that this man had beaten up the employee, apparently. It is said that he had beaten up already what? Her employee. Which is why he called her and she came quickly. She did. Usually, the Deputy Inspector General has policemen. Okay? She has convoy. She didn't come with convoy. She was alone, apparently. Okay? So, he's a fellow who is a known militant. She said, please go away. If you have an issue, there is proper procedure, isn't it?
Yeah, go to court.
Go to court. Provide a letter. Was there a record of an earlier serving of paper that you are in a wetland? The answer is no. If that was there, it would have been. Was there a previous service of notice that you people are committing a crime, therefore you should stop? The answer is no. There was none. But this man shows up with his he has a, it is said in the story in the story from Independent, it says Private Constable Katungi reportedly moves in a fleet of vehicles, including a black Porsche numberless Range Rover, a white Toyota Noah, and a white Toyota Harrier. These vehicles are often seen at extortion stops, with victims alleging that the money collects is for well-oiled syndicate of corrupt officers within the police force, mostly his superiors. Now, there seems to be a cartel. And they say bribes often range from 10, 30, 90, or even 100, depending on the size of the wetland proper to be degraded. Every clay factory in Kajansi, Rweza, Entebbe, Munyonyo Expressway has site heads collecting money on his behalf. He claims the money is shared with his bosses, which is why nobody dares touch him, a whistleblower revealed. He has already built a vast protection racket, ensuring that any officer who dares to challenge his illegal operation is swiftly transferred out of their position. Now, he mentioned that both the officer in charge of Kajansi and Division Police Command, DPC Entebbe, are said to be under his following his directive out of fear, because this man is a muscle man. At one point, Katungi even ordered for the arrest of OCCID Kajansi, a very senior officer in rank compared with this mere police constable, a move that shocked many within the police force.
So this is an investigative story by the independents.
By independence. Now, according to the story, as I read this thing, it just didn't seem to make sense. That I began to make phone calls to try and establish what happened. What actually happened is different from what they are saying. Ann's land, Anne Muhiire, is not in a wetland. There's been no serving of notice that you are building or degrading in a wetland. When this man comes, he apparently shows up and beats up this one who is, what was his name? Her manager. He's bleeding by the time he comes. What do you think she's going to do? And the man has been asking for money. Now, our client, he says, immediately left the scene amid threats by the said Anne Muhiire while vulgarly abusing him. He client reportedly to his supervisor, Commissioner of Police, Enoch Abane, the commandant of the Environmental Protection Unit, who advised him to report the case at Kajansi Police Station, which was opened via referent SDDs against Anne Muhiire. Now, if there is a police case, let it proceed. Let it what? Proceed. You sure? You have to have the report from the NEMA that says this land is actually what?
Is being degraded.
Degraded. Let the evidence be brought out. And when that evidence is brought out and the people begin to speak and say, yeah, that actually, people begin to give witness. It is in that context when people begin to call that fingers begin to point at who?
At Katungi.
Hey, the things that have come out, my friend. I know this is not a regular police constable. A man who has a billion shilling mansion inside the wetland is supposed to protect. The person who need to explain. You see, if this thing goes on, many things are going to be what?
Unearthed.
When I read this story, I said, what? The man, despite being a mere police constable, Katungi falsely claims to be the chief head of NEMA. Kamyufu. A title fraudulent users to extort money from business and landowners. In addition, they say that he's a fake gold dealer in Munyonyo. Now, I don't know that one. Yes, but the report from this article says he, with numerous investors accusing him of conning them out of millions. So the fellow knows how to deal with NEMA is like, I'm the NEMA what? Chief head. There is issues of what? But the Kajansi wetlands, perhaps the most hypocritical aspect of is his claim to be a protect the wetland. Yet he has reportedly built a multi-billion hotel in a wetland along the Kajansi airstrip. The land, originally a public property, was allegedly grabbed using his powerful connection. This is from where? Now, who is Alex? Alex apparently was working in the flying squad. Huh?
Before it got dissolved.
Before it got dissolved.
Okay.
And he disappeared for some time.
Only to resurrect. As a NEMA boss.
There seems to be a major campaign to demonize Anne Muhiire, both with false allegation and lawfare. Apparently, Alex Katungi has now gone off radar, as he did in the recent past. Now, apparently, he's after getting a lawyer to write this letter and open the registering the complaint, he has disappeared.
Oh, so right now he has gone low?
He's gone off radar. He's not in public. You call him up and you can't find him.
Okay.
This is not the first time Katungi has been at the center of controversy. In 2017, when the military intelligence dismantled the feared flying squad, Katungi was amongst those who went into hiding.
Oh, yes.
Huh? This is according to Chimp reports, October 28, 2017, and he was implicated in armed robberies and kidnappings under the then infamous Flying Squad.
Yes, some interesting anecdotes.
It remains a mystery how he managed to resurface within the police force and rise to his current
position.
Now, I know for sure that if you work in the area of fighting corruption, I know for sure that if you stand up against cartels, because there is a well-oiled system, in this particular case, he's alleged to be collecting money. He's like the head of NEMA. Yeye achikwasaganya. Namwayo 10, namwayo 3, namwayo 9, namwayo meka. He's the man. Now, he faced off with an incorruptible, strong woman who said, no, I'm not taking any of this, BS. I almost thank you for helping me. She says, no, I'm not. Now, apparently, it's very connected because he says, I'm on NEMA, I'm connected to very politically connected families. I am well known. The man is he moves with guns.
Okay, Pastor Katungi.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, ask.
You say, probably Katungi might have, compromised the media and the team to tell the story of the deputy IGG. Wouldn't you come off as someone that is also being paid by the IGG to tell the story? Because she should be telling us this side of the story and not yourself.
No, the truth is every person who is a member of our society, who is involved in the fight against corruption, we must take interest when those who are representing us, who are in line of duty, who wake up every day to fight for us, are being accused.
So you're not paid?
No, I'm not paid at all. Not at all.
So why is she not speaking up?
You see, she as an official of government, you know how government works. Protocol. There's probably someone who is supposed to speak on her behalf, what. But by the time, you know how stories move. In Kampala, if they want to make you look dirty, they will quickly do that. Now, apparently, according to this letter, I'm just using the letter from the law, he says that after he opened the case against Anne, the following day, you have it, on Monday, 20th January. Today is what day? We are the 25th. So this is 4 days ago. 4 days ago, that on Monday, Anne Muhiire personally contacted our client via her number. This is her number, inviting him to her office. This is not a person who is trying to do something secretive. This is not a person who is doing a mafia. She is an inspector general of what?
Police. So you're saying
she's inviting him. Come to my what?
To my workplace.
If you are an official of government, you what? You come.
You come.
Come with your documents. Come and present your evidence. Come and say, look, I have here written that I served you this letter. It would have actually been interesting if in this lawyer's document that he had served her previously.
So this was I thought this was something they served her already. This
this is just come up. They hadn't served her anything. But this letter was sent and copied. If you notice, it is copied to 7 people. Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Mrs. Anne Muhairwe, Executive Director NEMA, Inspector General of Police, the Commandant Environmental Protection Unit, and our clients. Very good. Now, it is widely distributed.
Yes.
And guess what's the purpose?
I think, I don't know. What's the purpose?
The purpose in this interest is to create a bad reputation that a good person is actually the what?
The bad person.
The bad person.
Okay.
This is most unfortunate. And those of you who are going to be involved in the fight against corruption, you need to know what you are dealing with. Now, apparently, this is when the following day, if you could read what happened when she arrived, when he was invited.
Oh. Which paragraph is that?
The following day on Monday, Anne Muhiire personally contacted
the following
her.
day on Monday, Monday 20th January 2005, Anne Muhiire personally contacted our client via telephone number. But I mean, they mentioned the number 772. Upon reaching, he found a group of persons who had previously been arrested and convicted of environmental related issues. It is alleged that the said persons who miraculously appeared after our client had opened the case against Anne Muhiire had allegedly complained that our client had assaulted them.
Now, stay with me. I want to see how this thing is going to fall apart. It is on the 20th of Monday.
Yes.
Is when Anne invited this client. When did this man open the case against Anne Muhiire? If you look it up, it is number SD 65200125. On Monday, he apparently went and opened it after the what?
The meeting. What does that mean?
No, this is how things, by the way, but
reverse psychology.
You see, he has told us that he was told to go and register the case. And he's saying that Anne called him to this meeting after learning that he had opened up a case.
Now it makes sense. Yes. So there's quite a lot of lies.
This is, look, but these people are quick. Now, but what happened when she called him at the office? I want you to see what happened, which is why he ran
to police.
Go ahead. What happened when she's, according to his story, okay?
And
upon reaching, he found people, a group of persons
who miraculously appeared,
who had previously been arrested and convicted of environmental related offenses. Now, if these people were in jail, how did Anne get them out? You see, they are trying to create the semblance that Anne went to the prison and removed guilty people and brought them to her office, so that when Mr. Alex comes, he finds all these people who had been previously convicted, quote unquote, over there in our office.
But even out, if you've been to jail and then you come out, you still remain a convict.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
You can. But I want you to understand what happened. These are people, and I'm going to share with you because the videos were distributed. These are people who had been tortured.
Also, for them, their perception was these are people that were initially convicted, and yet in actual sense, there were people that are being tortured by Katungi,
who had been blackmailed, who had bere extorted, who are like, Madam, please, thank you for speaking about this man. We have enough evidence that this man is a bad man.
Was it like a setup? Because imagine if you call me to office to speak to you, where should I find other people there? Listen.
If something happens just now, and you do something, there is a well-known gun operator, and you stand up against them,
you have to
and there is a scuffle. People who hear about it, the borders, uyo musajja abadde atukola bwoti okiwulira madam katukubulire uyo musajja okyabadde atukola tusulate twebase.
So they voluntarily offered to
people gathered. And you see, when you're an inspector general, an inspector, say the word it. Inspector. But you see now, sometimes we ignore things until they become personal. Until they become what?
Personal.
Until they become personal. Now it became a personal issue that she is seeing firsthand extortion, militancy, people being accosted. She got to see people whose legs were broken. Look, I have on my photo on my Twitter, which same fellow who was listed here in a guy whose leg was broken by Katungi.
Oh, I've seen that.
The man breaks legs, my friend. I don't know what you call that in English. A leg breaker. Look at that.
Omumenyi
look at that.
omukubi w'ensamba ggere.
Look, you see what Anne has touched. Sometimes you touch a big warlord, you touch a big one, and they say, that one is untouchable. But now, in the interest of justice, in the interest of fairness, it must be known that our anti-corruption leader has actually exposed a cartel. Now, what needs to be done is we need a whole series. Let's finish this one because there is need for NEMA to come out.
Yeah, because how is this happening?
Exactly. NEMA needs to come out. NEMA needs to what?
To come out.
Come out. This man is creating a semblance that NEMA had already told this man, I am the word, this and that. But yet, number one, the land is not in a wetland. Number two, NEMA has never offered or spoken at all to these people. Number three, what is the relationship between NEMA and who? Alex Katungi.
Because clearly there seems to be a relationship.
A very big relationship.
By the time this is written and indicated that their client was on his duty, it means that NEMA actually is either aware of this guy's operation or their accomplices.
Now, there is a video that I have which was shared also of another official in Kajan saying that there is a fight. This man also fights off other officials of NEMA to chase them away so that he stays in the what? Muchintu ya chisigalamu. Kubanga chikola chi. Chimufunira. Now, apparently, if you go on, it is alleged that the said person who miraculously appeared after had already complained that had assaulted them. Now, these people came, when you say miraculously appeared, after our client had opened against Anne Muhiire. You see, look, this is Monday the 20th, an incident that took place on the weekend on Saturday. If he wanted to open a case, why didn't he open it on the same day?
Why did he wait for
Why did he wait on Monday? Do you see this? Because if someone has assaulted you, do you wait until Monday?
No. It depends on the circumstances.
No.
Really.
No. If you claim that Anne assaulted you at her place, okay, you would have gone immediately and registered the case.
Considering she's a high profile person.
You go and register. But look, it is after Anne calls you and exposes you and brings the people of the village that all of them say, omusajja oyo mubinyo, omusajja oyo yamenyo kugulu, omusajja oyo yatwala sente zange, omusajja oyo yatwala emmotoka yange, omusajja oyo yanteekamu emmundu, omusajja oyo yatusuza tetwebase. You understand? So now what we are seeing, this is called lawfare. Lawfare is when you harass someone deploying the use of what? Lawyers and the judicial process. Now, let us, in all fairness, continue reading this letter.
Okay. And Anne then forced our client to kneel down in the presence of former convicts and ordered him to pay what she termed as damages Ronald Asimwe, who is a son to Anne Muhiire, who was managing the dumping.
Okay, now, very good. I want you to see, this story doesn't make sense. It doesn't what? It is when I look at this. Anne Muhiire then forced her client to kneel down in the presence of former convicts. Anne is not that kind of person. You imagine ordering someone with a gun, because Alex, a flying squad fell. You, Anne, okay, you order some guy, get down on your knees. That is not true. Somebody's making things up. And then to order him to pay what she termed as damages to one Ronald Asimwe's son. Now, apparently money had changed hands. Okay?
From between...
Our client was forced to pay some of 3 million to the said son who was therefore set free. Now, the issue is Alex had badly beaten
the manager. I've been interested
Badly.
in seeing those photos of the manager being...
Yes, we are going to get them. Badly beat him. And in settling his medical bills, because the man needed to go be treated.
So that's why she asked for 3 million.
Yes.
Did he pay the money?
He gave the money because he says to the said son, and was therefore set free. Who was set free? You see, he's trying to say that he was held up as a captive.
Yeah, until he paid the money.
Look, this is when you are trying to resolve issues in an amicable way. We know that there's a complaint against you, but this one needs to be treated.
Yeah, bring the money.
Bring the money. Send the person to what? To hospital. Mutwali. What? Isn't it if you knock someone down, aren't you supposed to go and take that person?
You drive them to the hospital or get money.
You see, it is a story which doesn't make sense. The way it is written here, it is intended to tarnish the name of the Deputy Inspector General of Government. And repeating it without actually critiquing it and going to hear the size, doing homework. Me, I did homework, which is why I'm like, this doesn't make what? Sense. Now, it is said that he was also further made to kneel. Do you have that part?
Yes.
Read it.
Our client was forced to pay. Further on that.
He was also
further told to kneel down and apologize to her said son. Anne Muhiire then forced our client to kneel down in the presence of former convicts and ordered him to pay what she termed as damages to a one Ronald Asimwe, who is a son to Anne Muhairwe, who was managing the dumping.
Now, we have a problem here because in all of this, there is Ronald Asimwe, there's Anne Muhairwe, and now they are saying that he is the manager of the dumping. Now they are accusing him of dumping. They're trying to say he's an evil man. Now they're adding on that Anne is also Anne is also an extortionist. That he has just extorted what?
3 million.
3 million. From who?
From Katungi.
Guys, fighting corruption is not easy. Because the same thing people are doing, they are going to accuse you of what?
Of doing.
Kampala is not easy. Okay. Kampala is not what?
It's not easy.
And then after that, even when they recorded, you see, they recorded him, and I'm sure, I don't have this video, I'm sure that Anne has this video. But you see, when you are working for government and you're formal, you can't be able to quickly come up and say, this is it, because you are not like these ones. Go ahead and see. What is the Anne Muhiire then ordered?
Anne Muhiire then ordered our client to stop investigations and withdraw the case opened against her at Kajansi police station, or else be persecuted and terminated from Uganda police force. Anne Muhairwe has now enlisted former convicts and made them sign statements against our client, claiming they will be witnesses in the criminal trial.
Thank you. Now, I want you to see this issue. Indeed, Anne calls this man to come over on Monday.
On Monday, huh?
Apparently Monday morning. Now, the case against Anne is opened on SD 65 2125. The same day.
Yeah, the case is open.
The same one?
The same day.
You cannot say that Anne met, you opened the case and she heard about that case.
Yeah.
To call these people. Tibikwatagana. You can see people who act. Now, apparently, he says now what are they? She's being accused that she ordered her client to stop what?
To stop
investigation, which is a crime of what? Influence peddling and obstruction of what? Another case. Another one? Accusation. Case. And then number 2, and withdraw the case opened against her at Kajansi police what?
Station. Intimidation.
And then, or else be prosecuted. Wait, there is many people here who have witnessed and they said, this man, you did that. You did so many bad things. This is what they call lawfare cover-up. Saja do say, hey, Kampala, people are sharp. People are what?
People are sharp.
People are sharp. But also for us, we are also sharp. We can also tell. You see, you cannot change the dates. I guess they didn't know that we could understand.
Yeah, that was...
they are the ones who put the case is opened on the 20th. And the meeting is also on the what?
On the 20th.
You have to leave some time.
Yeah, because...
If you say that, I heard that you opened the case against me, which is why I have organized these people. How can they even use the word miraculously?
Chamagero. This is interesting.
You cannot say that, okay, let us give the benefit of the doubt. To see if this letter is true, Francis, let us say we have the facts in the wrong way. Okay, on Monday at about 10 o'clock, Mr. Alex went to
the
Kajansi. Kajansi,
okay.
And he reported what?
The case.
A case. Now, in the meantime, then he also has an appointment to go and meet who?
Yeah, deputy.
The deputy IGG. Now, let's flip and say that, okay, he came in the afternoon. But when does she hear that he has opened the case? And when does she quickly organize the people who are convicts to quickly come as if she knows them already? The answer is no. This is to me the same thing. It just doesn't what?
Makes sense.
It doesn't. And this is why the people fighting corruption, they need our help. Because there is what President Donald Trump calls misinformation, fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. We're dealing with misinformation here.
Tremendous.
So bad. So bad. Fake news. Fake news. It is so bad. You see, we are seeing an effort to demonize Anne Muhiire. That we are, one, that she is obstructing the investigation. Okay? She probably hasn't even heard that there is even a case.
Intimidating or anything.
When does police serve? If the case is opened, right? If a case is opened against you, when do you get to know that the case has been? Do you know immediately? Do they send you SMS?
No. Actually, you only get to know when the police approaches you.
Exactly.
Maybe they sent SMS.
No, you see, Francis, any normal person, just even reading this letter can show you the internal contradiction.
Yes, because they went in the morning and then there was someone in the afternoon. Is that the case?
It can't be. It can't be. He was summoned in the morning. My investigation tells me that he was called in the morning. So he could not have reported the case. But anyway, continue now. Okay.
The actions of the Deputy Inspector General of Government are shameful.
What?
Shameful.
Say it loudly.
Shameful.
Imagine the way they insult your integrity.
Abuse of power.
Another accusation.
An act born out of impunity.
Impunity. 3 things. Shameful. Number 2, abusive of power.
Impunity.
Number 3, impunity.
Which erodes public confidence in the institution of the inspector of government.
Look. Therefore, the purpose of this letter.
The purpose of this letter, therefore, is to appeal to your esteemed office to rein in upon Mrs. Anne Muhiire to cease and desist of further harassment and framing the police officers with dubious charges. All right. She should be immediately refrained from degrading the aforementioned land and reminded that holding the office she holds does not put her above the law. By the copy of this letter, we make an appeal to the relevant officers to protect the police officers against victimization, harassment, and abuse.
Okay, she's being accused of degrading the land. But is this Mwesigwa Rukutana the one who is supposed to report? If he's going to say you are guilty of degrading the land, it is NEMA that is supposed to write officially, official communication. Not Mwesigwa.
Maybe he's a concerned citizen just like you are.
No.
It's
please.
possible.
He says you are shameful, you are abuse of authority, you are misrepresenting facts, okay? And then he says, we want to make sure that, in essence, we are reporting her to the boss. But, you see, if you have never fought corruption, my brother, and they copy all of this is a very powerful law firm. Mwesigwa Rukutana. Hey!
Yeah, it's a big one.
Very big one. For you to hire a law firm of that size, you must have financial capacity.
Maybe connection as well.
And connection is a powerful, this is a powerful man.
Capital.
Okay? Very powerful. You can't just get a law firm like that. People, no more police. Me, I grew up in the police barracks. My brothers are policemen. Okay? My oldest was a policeman. He passed away. But I grew up in police barracks in Zambia. I know the life of a policeman. This is a constable. A constable to hire Mwesigwa Rukutana. You have to ask yourself, what am I not seeing? You remember there was a policeman recently. You Google it. Who had a wedding? You remember there was a wedding. Was it a policeman who held a wedding at Speak Resort Munyonyo? Was it a policeman? And he invited the boss.
What did the boss do?
The bosses saw a wedding which was unequal to the salary.
No, there are wedding meetings where people contribute. Yeah. So I'm telling you.
By the way, there is what is called a lifestyle audit.
I know.
You listen to me. This man, Alex Katungi, he has a $1 billion shilling hotel on the same wetland. Is supposed to be what? So if someone needs to be if someone needs to be investigated, it is Alex who?
Katungi.
How did you get the money to buy that hotel? To build that hotel? The man is involved in rally driving. I like rally driving.
But that's a very expensive sport.
Buying a Subaru. I was talking with my friend Mike Mukula the other day. He was showing me his new Moti.
Oh, he's a biker.
Subaru. My friend.
Yeah,
it is not small money.
Like golf, it's expensive.
Very expensive. Now, my brother, Alex, Afuga Motoka Zampaka.
I think a constable.
Which police constable is doing that?
He's maybe.
Now, you see, when this is what you do when there are times when the policeman arrests you and takes you to the OC, then you are accused that very same policeman has arrested you with the DMV to the to the OC and said this policeman is so bad.
Yeah, stop me for no reason, Or I found him smoking.
You see, for me, this is just ridiculous. Francis, and I want everybody, look, we have gone through, recently there was a corruption case of 3 members of parliament. Against 3 members of parliament by the Human Rights Commission president. Was it Margaret Wagadia? And she recorded them. Man, you see, she became my hero. To me, the leading anti-corruption hero of last year was Margaret Wagadia. She released the information. But do you know how much pressure she was under?
Quite a lot.
Do you know how much pressure she would be under from all the members of parliament, all the people, all the constituents? They were telling her, according to the recordings, that we are going to give you more money in your your commission, but you have to what?
To backtrack, to give us money.
Now, because she apparently is a strong Christian woman, she said no.
Sijabawa.
They met her, but she recorded them.
Wakwatira.
They called them. Now, it is not easy, my friend, in this city. Many, by the way, now, many of the agencies in Uganda, it used to be that 10 or 20% were corrupt and 80% were straight. Now the thing it has turned.
20% are straight, 80% are corrupt.
Corrupt.
Very sad.
And if you are there, I want to tell you, I know you are working for government, you are working for a university, you are working for this institution. It is not easy. It is not easy. So for me, I have questions to ask from this very letter. You are saying that Anne was degrading. Can you show us a letter that you have served her, that I had previously served them, that you are degrading? 2, you are saying that she told you to pay 3 million shillings. For what? What did she say the 3 million? What is the letter saying the 3 million is for?
For damages.
Of what? They don't explain. There is no reason why they give money. Our client was forced to pay a sum of 3 million shillings to the said Anne Muhaire's son. He's not her son, he's an employee, and was therefore set free. What is he saying? That she arrested him,
made him to kneel down,
and so he paid her 3 million to release her. It just doesn't add up. Francis, these things, look, you know, you are artist.
Yes.
Now, amongst us, Baganda, when someone is spinning a tale, mutubale mu akant, mutubale mu amagezi. I don't know if you have that kind of a proverb in Ateso. Do you have something similar to that?
Not any that I know of. Mutubale mu amagezi.
Nafe mutubale mu amagezi. Now this letter is being served. It has been published in Observer. It is being served on the social medias. It is being served. What was the other one? Even in Independent. And it is written without a correspondence fair response. So you are dealing with propaganda to tarnish the reputation of a bright star fighting against corruption. No. So, for me as a senior citizen, okay? Who is the former chief judge? The one who retired? Who is the former chief judge? Rita. Who is the former chief judge who retired? He often gives, I think his name starts with, no, not Ogola, his name starts with K. Okay, he often gives advice and his opinions on issues. He's very incorruptible. You know, we know there are certain judges who are incorruptible. So he told Isaac Semakade that on Twitter that they are trying to get rid of you.
This cause that you've embarked on. What do you intend to help the Deputy Chief Justice to achieve?
No, it is not so much the helping of the individual. We should be the people. You see, it takes a village to raise a child. And in a day and age of quick information, people can do misinformation on you quickly, that by the time you speak in protocol, they have already destroyed your reputation. We too must be active citizens who ask difficult questions and say, but no, that doesn't make sense. We have duty. We have duty as Ugandan, patriotic Ugandans, to defend our leaders, especially when they are being attacked for doing their what?
Their jobs.
Look, we have had a case. You remember when was it? KCCA former executive director. She faced off with a general. You remember? Who was holding a house?
Jennifer Masisi.
Yeah, Jennifer. She had a general over a house. The man was in occupying a house. General Tinyefunza. You see, he was occupying the house of KCCA illegally. And Jennifer told him, please, you need to get out of that house. And people said, no, there's no way a woman, moreover, a Ugandan woman can take on a what?
A general.
But I remember this story here. It was, I believe it was in the year 2000. When was she in? I think it was 2011. Now remember that General Tinyefunza, he was also the coordinator of intelligence services. So now he's facing off with the Jennifer Musisi, who was asking to vacate the house where? In Kololo.
Immediately.
And the house, because the house belonged to what? KCCA. I remember he rebuked her. Who is this girl? Now, there is a way in which also there is misogyny, also in corruption, and strong men may want to do something because that is a woman. We can get away with it.
Fair enough.
You understand?
Yeah.
But being a man and being a policeman, having those connection. By the way, in this letter, they don't mention that he also is reputed to have connections. But they keep playing, I only fear Saleh, I only fear Museveni, I only... to try and make the person look bad, really.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm glad, you see, it was on July 19th, 2011, that Musisi wrote to Tinyefunza asking him to hand over the mansion situated on plot 2, Mabua Road, Kololo, by August 2nd, 2011. She wrote the letter in July. And she said, by August 2nd, you need to what?
They have left.
Now, those of you who are old enough, remember that the general says, who is this one? You see, the residence had previously been used as a residence for the mayor. For the what?
For the mayor.
So she was rightfully
Demanding for repossession.
So Tinyefunza wrote back and said, as you know, this property is Coordination Center for Intelligence and Security. For emphasis, I wish to stress, I do not raise or use this property for personal work. It serves government in its effort to maintain peace and stability. I therefore find your letter offensive and irresponsible. You are free to come and evict whoever you want. I wish you luck.
That's intimidation already. So the misogyny part exists.
And then that was followed with a heavy deployment of soldiers at the mansion.
Was afraid.
Tinyefunza also copied this letter to the President, Minister of Defense and Security, copied to Attorney General. But you see, it had been given in March 2008 to Tinyefunza 2008 when Kahinda Otafire was the Minister of Local Government. So, but there had been opposition by councillors. Sebagala gave the house up. Okay, he was the mayor. Sebagala used to sleep even in hotels many times because he didn't have an official what?
Official wife.
You see, in doing justice in our country, man, you have to also be mad.
So now you're mad.
Jennifer Musisi also looked at Tinyefunza, the general, and said, please.
Did she repossess the house?
She did. She did.
Impressive.
We have to actually appreciate when our leaders, you see, in this case, you see, there was a debate in the city of Kampala. There were those who were on the side of the general, and there were those who were on the side of what? Musisi. I was on the side of Jennifer.
Obviously.
Of course. She's my friend. She's a Christian. Again, she was also a strong Christian woman, born again, and she was standing for justice against a general with the military, the man deployed.
Military muscle.
But Jennifer won the day. And for me, I was happy. Justice was served. And I think in many ways, guys, we have not given due respect and appreciation for the work Jennifer Musisi did.
That's true. A lot of people say it today.
You see, people like Jennifer Musisi, people like Anne Muhiire, especially women leaders who have come up and they face off these generals, they must be commended.
That's true.
This one, though, is a policeman. He operates like a what?
Like a general.
Hey, what are you talking about? Yeah, does a mere policeman own a billion shilling hotel?
What if it's just the face of the hotel?
What are you talking about? So for me, as a civil society leader, Pastor Semper, who is interested in justice and the advancement of the rule of law, I think it is absolutely wrong for us to be quiet when we are watching our leader being decimated in the court of public opinion. When we watch our leader, a bright star in fighting corruption, being decimated in social media, on blogs, I'm like, no, I'm going to talk. Let me talk. And I encourage others, journalists. You see, the fight against corruption is advanced when information is what? Is shared. Sometimes people get afraid and they go quiet. So that is my thought. Okay. I know that, but what we have discovered is that there are so many people. I've discovered that since this issue came up, poor women, men whose legs were broken, people whose cars were taken, people who gathered, people, even when I did my post on Twitter, people are sending me messages. There's a man who sent me a message, he said, Pastor, I've been off Twitter, but when I saw you talk about that man, Alex Katungi, what he did to my father.
Oh, wow.
I've come to Twitter back. I want to tell you my story. There are people. Right. So if you are there also and you have had an experience with this Katungi, please share.
Yeah, I think it would be very, very nice if people share it, because this then ceases to be just an allegation that you're making.
No, I'm going to share with you videos of the people who shared in public their experiences of Katungi so that you can insert them in your video and people can see.
Definitely. That's my biggest prayer, because then you don't want to be crucified as people that are just relying on here.
No. But there should also be I like that Jennifer Musisi attitude. General, leave that house. I just feel, it feels good.
To speak with authority.
It feels good. When you are standing for the right thing, even if the other person is a person with powerful guns. It's good.
Pastor, as we close, what are your parting shots?
My parting shots that when we are in this year of 2025, Donald Trump has just become the president of America.
Actually, yeah.
And for more than 15 years, I was often standing up against the sexual corruption of homosexuality, men claiming to be women, women claiming to be men. It's been long. But people know that Pastor Semper has been very consistent on that issue. And I've suffered mafias, I've suffered the loss of money, I've suffered being badly misrepresented. But last week I was watching here on TV, Trump giving the inaugural speech. And then he said, from today my government is going to recognize what? Only man and woman. That night I went out, I was looking for a glass of wine. They had closed the city because in America, when it is normal time, here it is late. So I ended up going to Sheraton. I was there alone. It was 2 o'clock. But I said, you people, I need a glass of red wine. Because for me, whenever I celebrate, I'm like Jesus. Jesus turned water into what? Into wine. Yeah, I know some locally don't like it. Some people who are teetotalers, they are absolute. They don't think you can be born again and you can drink wine. But me, I drink red wine. One glass.
It doesn't get you high?
I don't get drunk. But it gives me a good feeling.
Which feeling?
I know Ire.
Ecstatic.
The Bible says that wine makes the heart glad.
Okay.
I know there are people who give verses, don't get drunk. It is true, it's a good verse. Me, I don't get drunk. But the Bible says that God gives wine to make the heart of people what? Glad. And for celebration, party, and victory, Chikuba. So even now, as I shared with the people here, please remain standing. My book, Africa's Resistance to Homosexuality, is come out. I stood against this moral corruption. Those of you who would like to get a copy, I have the entire story of the 15 years of suffering from Barack Obama up to this year.
Suffering from Barack Obama.
Barack made us suffer so bad. So bad. It's called Why Are You Gay? Africa's Resistance to Homosexuality.
Already in the
Volume
stores.
1, I'm working on Volume 2 already. And it is available. You can call me. I deliver in the CBD, Central Business District.
Tugenda
kiteekayo.
Delivery is also disturbing.
I'm going to deliver it
on
also. Amazon? Not yet Amazon. But now that, by the way, Mukama Mulungi, you see, before Trump coming in, this book would not have been able to be on Amazon.
Oh.
Hey! What are you talking about?
They'd have thrown it out.
Hey! They closed down my Facebook. They closed down my what? But now, it's going to change.
For 5 years.
Let us stand strong. Let us stand strong against corruption, sexual corruption, against intimidation, against gunslingers. God is on our side.
Amen.
So I'm going to give my number. If you want a copy of my book, it is 150,000 shillings per copy, hardcover. Call my number or send me a WhatsApp 0772 64 10 28. This is content. Very good content. 0772 64 10 28.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we finish, you said you had a few things to share about the Reverend that spoke on Trump's inauguration. Is that something you want to touch on?
We can do it in a next conversation.
Okay.
We don't want our people to get tired.
Overloaded. All right, guys. For me, what I take out of this conversation with Pastor is that clearly corruption is still very prevalent in our communities. But then, even the people that fight against corruption actually are made to look bad, which means that in the event that such things happen, it only takes some voices to put a voice to it. Perhaps that's when the conversation could be put in place. But then, as Pastor said, we don't want this conversation to just seem like an allegation. We are going to give you evidence to show you that actually the Deputy IGG is being put in wrong light by some unassuming members of society. My name is Francis Amukule. I hope this episode was very, very interesting for you. Keep it right here on the Board Podcast. It's from me to you. From me to you. Tumaze ochikuba.
Tugenze.
Tujabala mu party.
Eyalama no ebo. Ebo. Wewe.